What's good, YouTube? We're here with this guy,
Leland.
All right, actually, we're here with this man, Bruce Menard. He got sixth place at the St. Peter's Regional at the Collector's Store.
Yes, sir.
And we decided to do a deck profile today because this man told me in private that he's, well, I'll let you tell it. What's your goal for this year?
Well, I'm going for Nats, but I'm mainly going for Worlds points this year. I'm going to try and make it to Worlds this year. That's my
Because
plan.
as we know, this man got top 64. I still need to do a player interview with you, but we're getting into this regional deck profile. So what did you play?
I played a spicy version of Runick for High Spright.
Alrighty.
So let's get into it. So I played a big Spright package, so 3 blue, 2 jet, 1 red, 1 carrot, and then I ran 2 starter. Most lists that I see are only running 1 jet, 1 starter. The way that I have my deck set up, I focus more on the level 2 for higher cards, so running these is fine because it locks you into 2s, but you're fine with just like being in 2s.
Okay.
So like I'm running just 2 Rex and 1 Dampa, and I'm running 1 Rafale. I'm running this like this, so that, well, you don't have to run Beat, so you're not running Rookie, you're just running Mayhems instead.
Okay.
And so this like just makes your like engine a lot better. Rafale becomes like pseudo brick, but even if you draw it, because Donner can summon from hand, you can just summon it out from your hand or from grave, so you can just discard it as your Hugan discard. And then Double Mayhem just gives you super grind game, so that way you can just always play. And then like the point of this is like you're always sending like Rex or Dampa from deck to grave with Sprend, and then like giganting out the other one and then making an IP to like make your full go during your opponent's turn, and that's when you summon the Rafale out to get your extra like cards.
Okay.
So like you're no longer doing it on turn 1. And then the last monster I played was Hyperia. This was like if you already drew into the Rex and didn't need to summon it, or like if you just drew it, you can just normal summon it. It's a level 2, you draw a card. It's also an Earth for Mannequin Cat that you can just summon out. That's a different type. It's also like you can summon this off a Gigantic and then use a Gigantic in this to go straight into Donner, so that way you can summon your like Fur Hairs back from grave. So it's just like it's like nichely good and super in a lot of situations. And then for Runick, I mean, I don't know if I have to say a whole bunch about the Runick package.
I mean, we all know and hate this, so I mean, just show it.
3 of everything. And then at Nats, I was running 1 Dispelling, 1 Smiting Storm. The Smiting Storm would come up a whole bunch in testing, but it never came up in Nats, and so I decided to cut it for a second Dispelling. I loved it. This card is so good. Every deck is searching in this meta, so getting to this and just like pitching a card of your opponent's hand, banishing another couple cards, it's so good in the grad game.
Thank you, OTS Reprint.
Yes, sir. Just waiting for Slumber. And then for my non-engine, I ran a Thrust package, so 2 Thrust, 1 Talent, and 2 Evenly. This is like the same Thrust package I was running at Nats. Felt really good. Going into the event, I was really worried for Pearly, so I also main decked 1 Herald of the Abyss. This is the 41st card in the deck. I played against no Pearly, but every time I drew this or did Thrust into this, it was insane. Like I was playing against someone playing Shadal's, or playing Tyr Shadal stuff, and they put up a window, and I was like, oh, cool, Thrust, search Herald of the Abyss, Herald of the Abyss, call Dark Spellcaster, got rid of the window, and then I was able to play the game.
That's how you do it.
Extra deck.
Yes, sir.
I hated my extra deck. I didn't change it after I like made like, so you might notice like in the main deck there's no fossil digs. I think that's the biggest like shocking factor of this is there's no fossil digs. Most of the Runick for higher decks do run it, but you lose a Droll, and I think Droll's really big this format, so I didn't want to run into it. And I didn't change the extra deck to accommodate. But what I ran yesterday was 2 Donner, 2 Fulgo. Beforehand I wasn't really summoning the second Fulgo, or sometimes the second Donner, but with the way that you have it set up, you have to go into these. I'm really considering going to a 3rd Donner, just so that way you have more grind game and you can keep bringing your cards back from grave.
Okay.
1 Sprend, 1 Azalea, 1 IP. These are just like the mandatory stuff that you have to run. Yeah. 2 Hugan, 1 Gary. I thought about running Slipnir for a second, but it was just not good enough.
Not for this build, at least.
No. 1 Mannequin Cat. This card, I can't talk about how good this card is. This is the most ridiculous card in this deck. It helps solve so many issues, like being able to like summon your opponent's cards back, and then like you can summon like Hyperia if you need an extra card just to draw a card. This is ridiculous. And you can summon from grave. There was a time where I summoned someone's Bell back to summon my Donner from grave. Yeah, my Donner from grave. And then Donner effect attributed itself, summoned 2 more from grave. So like this 1 card turned into like 3 bodies. It was ridiculous. 1 Gigantic. This needed to be a 2 of, and that was my biggest mistake because I didn't run 2 instead of running. I ran Gin Buster and Gigantic, which is what I normally do. I didn't make this card at all. It never comes up anymore because you're always overlaying your blue and your jet to go into a Gigantic. I needed the second Gigantic multiple times yesterday and didn't have it. I still did well, clearly, but like it would have impacted especially my draw. My draw, I didn't have a second Gigantic to like get another Rex out from deck to like continue playing, so it really made me lose. And then I'm still running the Chaos Angel. This card's crazy, especially in this deck, mainly because now that you're making your Folgo with your IP, when you summon this with IP, it can't be destroyed by card effects, which is kind of crazy. But if you have this out in defense, then it also can't be destroyed by battle. So it can't be destroyed by battle or card effects. And so you just sit there with like this board for long enough with enough Runick cards, and they just never win. The amount of times I had this out, like just full go with Chaos Angel, they can't out this board, and you just kind of sit there and you just keep attacking them for the rest of the time.
Jesus.
And the one thing I added in yesterday was Underworld Goddess. It didn't really come up. Again, it was for Pearly. Didn't play a lot of Pearly. I made it, I think, twice. I made it against a lab player and a branded player, and it was good in those situations.
That's one of my favorite kaijus.
Yeah, it just helps. It was just like it just helps out cards that you can't target because there are cards in the game that you can't target, and this deck has a hard time with that.
Yes.
For my side deck, I loved my side deck yesterday. It was fantastic. 3 Bestials. This is just for like random combo decks, branded for Dragon Link, all that. And for I set this into Labyrinth too, the furniture Labyrinth. It helps out with like destroying their grind game. 3 Ash. This is for branded, of course, and for Labyrinth, and for literally every other deck for when I'm going second. I'm also citing 2 Drolls. These were going to be 2 Bells, but I decided last second to put in the Drolls. I never drew this card at all yesterday, so I can't tell you how good they were.
I'm not super susceptible to
2 Kree card. This card is ridiculous. The one time I dropped this, I like ate 4 cards my opponent controlled, and just the game was over.
Jesus.
For my 1-ofs, I had Wiz for time.
Wow.
I summoned this like 3 times in one of my games because the guy just kept stalling, and I was like, I have so much advantage. I just kept summoning this back off of Donners and just like would summon it. I had a Mannequin Kid out. I would summon back their Droll, and since this is a spellcaster and Droll's a spellcaster, you just summon this and you're like, cool, gain more life. It was ridiculous. 1 Chaos Hunter. This card's crazy. I side this in for when I think I'm gonna get shifted, but also into Dragon Link. I played this into Dragon Link, and it was like they scooped immediately. 1 Ibly. Most decks, lots of decks can't out this right now. No one's playing around it.
It's Ibly.
And in this deck, you literally just go, you give them an Ibly, and then you just continuously slumber it so they can never attack with it. And then when they finally can, they crash into your Folgo, and then you get to draw cards because it's got destroyed by battle, and so Folgo gets you to draw more cards. So you just start getting more and more value off of it. And then my 2 thrust targets were Harpies and Destructive Daruma Cannon. And I sided this end going first and this end going second.
That's my favorite card.
Yep. That's it.
So any shout outs, sir?
Yes. I got to shout out Action, the card shop. This is my place. This is my home. I love this place. I got to shout out Eric, the guy who got first place. He absolutely cooked me at the top table. I bricked really, really hard, but he took advantage of it, and he ended up winning the regional. I can't hate when someone from here gets it. Shouts to my team, and shouts to you.
Appreciate it. All right, this has been the 6th place deck profile of Runick Spright for hire. Darn Cannon, Feather Duster for the game. Remember, YouTube, there's always news to make. Remember to comment, like, deuces.